everyone, this is Lisa from TRW, and in this video I'm going to give you an explanation and some examples of how to use the advanced cut settings of the Silhouette Studio cut panel. Now you may know this panel by the action by at the top of the screen, but the cool thing about this is there's a lot of flexibility in how you cut your designs, and there's ways to kind of shorten up your cutting time so you don't have to move your design around and you don't have to kind of mess things up. So if you want to learn how to use the advanced cut settings in the action by panel in the Silhouette Studio cut panel, just go ahead and keep on watching. Okay, so I'm in Silhouette Studio. Now I'm going to go over and open up a file that I'm going to use advanced cut settings for. Now one thing to note is that you need to use the Designer Edition upgrade with the advanced cut settings panel. So this is something that is available in Designer Edition and up. You guys know from my videos that I always recommend using at least Designer Edition. You'll see from my screen that I'm using Business Edition, but these features are available in Designer Edition as well. So over here on my screen, I have my little unicorn. This one, I'm going to cut this way. You know, with this sort of design, it's not a big deal about mirroring it. You may want to mirror your design, especially if you're doing text, but with this guy, not a big deal. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it this way, and actually, I'll go ahead and flip it just to be safe. So right click, flip horizontally. So now this is ready to be cut. Now, I don't want to have to move my design out of the way, okay? With something like this, you can move parts of your design out of the way and just cut, you know, one little section at a time. But to be honest, I don't want to. And I can easily just cut in the section around here and then save my scrap pieces. So for something like this, you want to use your advanced cut setting if you have a design that maybe there's several colors and they kind of like interweave. You don't want to move your design. And then there's also, if you're doing multiples of something, maybe you're doing some customization and you're utilizing the layers panel. Now the layers panel is a whole other topic. I will do a video on it and link it below. So I'm just going to kind of go over that and focus more on the cut by color and cut by line color sections. So let's go to the cut panel. We're going to go over to the send panel. And you can see right now, nothing is showing up as cut lines. And the reason why is that I have brought this file in as an SVG file. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll put a link in the description. Basically, when an SVG file comes into Silhouette Studio, a lot of times your cut lines are not turned on. So I'm going to take my mouse, go across here, just go ahead, click this button here for cut. And so now you can see that these lines are going to turn, they're going to turn dark and we're going to be able to cut them. So we go right here, let's do cut. And now we have our bold red lines around there. All right. So let's go ahead and say, hey, I only want to cut part of this design. Right now it's going to cut all of those lines on the same thing. So our first option right here is simple. That's what we're in right now. Anything that's in the screen, anything that's in your work area will cut, is the simple version of what I'm saying. Let's go to line. So this is going to give you line colors. So I have this design set up by line color, and you can see that I've put the color of the line with the color of my design. So you can see that every line in here shows up bold, and they all have these check marks. So if you have a check mark in one of these sections, that means that this will cut. So let's say I only want to cut the black. I'm going to uncheck all these other colors, and you can see only this black line is bold. Now, one thing I want to emphasize, whenever you are doing advanced cutting, whether it's by line or by fill or anything like that, is you need to pay attention to your material section right here, okay? So whenever you break apart your design, you will have to make sure each material is set right here to the correct color and material. Now, a lot of times what happens is, and I've done this on many occasions where I've cut my black part, but I do a weed box around it, and I've changed the material on my design, but over here, I kept it stuck on Magic Flock like it is here, as opposed to my glitter HTV. And so what happens is, one part of your design will cut fine, but then when it cuts the next color, it actually will do a different cut setting. And so a lot of times that's how we have people who cut straight through their carrier, or they don't cut all the way through. So very important, make sure that these materials are set to the material that you're cutting. All right. So that is cut by line. What I like to use all the time is cut by fill. So this is cut by the color that it's filled in. So you can see these are all checked again. And let's say I just want to cut this blue. I'm going to uncheck all of this. And now you can see only this blue has the thick line around there. So this is the option that I use the most often. I find this the most useful when I am layering decal vinyl when I use my registration marks. So for something like that, let me go back to my design and I'm going to throw in some registration marks to show you what I'm talking about. So let's go right here. I'm just going to use my shift tool, draw a square, and then I'm going to go through, hold down Alt, create a couple copies. All right, so let's select all of these. And I'm just going to align them and respace them. Now, all of these tools that I just used are covered in my Silhouette playlist. So if you want to know how did I align that, how did I respace that, go ahead and check out the playlist below. I do have a playlist on using Silhouette Studio software, and this is actually a video that is added to it as soon as this is done. So I have my boxes here that will be used as registration marks. Let's go to our send panel, and let's say that I want to cut all my colors. So when I do something like this, I'm going to select each color at a time, but I'm going to check this no color for these boxes, and this will always cut. So basically, whenever I'm done with all my colors, because those boxes are always in the same spot, that is how we use to align the design. So if you want to see how the designs are aligned after cutting, check out the description below. I also will put a video of how to line these up after the fact. And then the last option in our action by panel is by layer. So if you are unfamiliar with layers, basically when you create designs in Silhouette Studio, it puts them in an order of how they're brought in. So you have your black, your white, your pink, your blue, and then the boxes that I just drew are on top of that. Now you can utilize layers by basically grouping them. So we have this group over here. We can make another layer and start adding stuff to here. So we have groups of objects that can be taken off, hidden, locked, that sort of thing. Now, of course, there's a lot more to layers. We will do a video on that soon, but you can also cut by your layer in Silhouette Studio as well. So that is an overview of the advanced cut settings of Silhouette Studio. I think it's a great feature that isn't utilized as much as it should be. It really makes your production time faster, easier, and just better, in my opinion. So if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Comment below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what kind of videos that you want. What do you want to learn with Silhouette Studio? And also, don't forget, subscribe to us on YouTube. Make sure you click that bell in the bottom to make sure you're notified every time we put up a new video. So can't wait to talk to you soon. Love you guys. See you later.